How do you become a project manager with zero experience? Today, I'm revealing everything you need so you know what steps to take if you're considering a career in project management, or maybe you're not sure where to start. We're breaking this video up into 3 parts. First, what is the role of a project manager and what skills does a project manager need? Second, what are companies looking for when you're applying for positions as a project manager? And third, how do you land a job as a project manager if you have no experience? I know personally how hard it can be since I didn't know what steps I needed to take to advance my own career. As always, I want to be honest and transparent with you. I had worked for many years as an engineer before I finally landed my job as an engineering project manager. If I wasn't being proactive with my career, and if I didn't make strategic choices, I would still be an engineer today. And I want to make sure that you have the information that you need so you can avoid the same mistakes that I made, so you can jumpstart your career to an even higher income. So if you're looking to get a job in project management, I want to give you my free project management career guide. With how competitive the job market is, people getting laid off, and you're still not getting hired by all the companies you're applying to, if you're one of those people that's like, this is the year that I'm going to change my career, I'm going to land a job as a project manager, but I don't know what to do and I'm just feeling way too overwhelmed, then just start small. Download my free project management career guide over at alvinthepm.com/career guide. This is a simple free PDF guide so you know the exact steps to follow to jumpstart your career, land your next job in project management, and fast track your path to a higher income. I want you to have this material so that you can start putting this into action in your own career. So head on over to alvinthepm.com/career guide to download your free guide to landing your next job in project management. Part 1, the role of a project manager. Project management, in a nutshell, it's all about applying a set of processes and tools to lead a team so that different activities can be accomplished on time and within budget. And all of this results in some type of a final product, service, or result. So for example, this could be the development of a new product like the latest cell phone, laptop, or electronic display. Maybe you're building a new home in the city, or even you're developing a new software application. Now, if that sounds complicated, trust me, it's not. Anyone can become a project manager. You can do it as long as you have the mindset and you're willing to grow and be in a more leadership position. So if I was to summarize the role of a project manager, here it is. You're basically leading your team to translate an idea that may have just existed as a sketch on a piece of paper to a full-blown solution or a physical working product. It's something that can actually be used and that delivers actual real value to other people. And because of that, the role of a project manager, it's very unique. I mean, how many other roles are there in a company where you're overseeing a team and you're leading everyone to accomplish a common goal? If you're an individual contributor, for example, maybe you're a buyer, a marketing associate working in supply chain, or maybe you're an engineer, your main responsibility is to perform the technical work that's assigned to you. You're the one who actually creates the purchase orders, writes the test reports, does the physical inspection of all the parts, writes and tests the software code, and so on and so forth. But as a project manager, well, guess what? You're not the one doing the technical work anymore. As the project manager, you're the one responsible for making sure that the entire project is successful. So in a way, you're the one in the hot seat now, and it's gonna get super hot and spicy, but in a good and very rewarding and challenging way. You're getting paid to lead others. You're in the leadership role to guide a team from start to finish, to translate an idea from a piece of paper through a series of processes, initiation, planning, execution, monitoring and controlling, and closing, so that the goals of the project can be accomplished and it becomes something that's physically tangible into a real product, service, or result. And That is where the true joy of being a project manager is. So many things can and will go wrong with a project, and it's your role as a project manager to navigate your team through these different scenarios. You're the only one who manages the entire project from start to finish. You're leading your team to mitigate high severity risks so that they don't become a major issue, because you want your project to be completed on time and within budget while still upholding to the highest quality standards and meeting all of the customer requirements. And that isn't an easy task to do. It is a huge responsibility, but it can be so much fun to have that kind of an impact with not just leading teams, but also working more closely with leadership and driving results that really have an impact on your company. So if you want to be in a leadership role where you're the one leading an entire team to create a final product, have a direct impact on the company itself, and of course deliver value through others, project management is definitely a career to consider. Now let me show you visually what a project manager does. Let's say that you're in charge of leading a team to build a new house in the city. As a project manager, you will lead your team through all 5 phases of these processes. In initiation, this is where you're beginning a new project and you're working with your project sponsor to create the project charter. It's here that you're creating the vision for the project and how this has an impact on the organization. Perhaps this new housing development project will be part of a multi-year construction project, which will help the company generate millions of dollars in revenue over a 5-year timeline. It's during this initiation phase that you're identifying the key stakeholders, you're defining the project goals, the high-level timeline, and you're understanding how this project supports the company's strategic vision. The key takeaway from the initiation phase is you need to know what is this project supposed to do. Because if you don't have a clear vision in mind or what the objectives are going to be and how this will benefit the company, how can you communicate and how can you lead an entire team to accomplish all of these goals? The second phase of a project is planning, and it's exactly what it sounds like. Benjamin Franklin is famous for his quote saying that if you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. And the planning phase, it's extremely important. You're planning and you're organizing the project in sufficient detail before any work actually starts. And the reason why we spend so much time in planning is that if you focus your efforts on understanding what resources, time, and money is required, you're more likely to have a clear understanding of exactly how the project's objectives will be accomplished, and you're going to also encourage increased buy-in and engagement from all key stakeholders. So examples of activities that take place during planning, they typically include determining the requirements for the project and the final product, identifying all the deliverables that need to be created, understanding what is inside and outside the scope of your project, determining the procurement strategy for your resources, creating a risk register, and identifying what risks pose the biggest threats to your project, and of course, creating a preliminary schedule and a high-level budget. Now keep in mind that being a project manager is not just about maintaining a Gantt chart. The most important thing that you need to know is that project planning is very iterative, and that the amount of time that you spend planning and the level of detail needed should be appropriate to the needs of your project. You cannot fully plan everything to the most detailed degree. Just something to keep in mind here. Now during the execution phase, you're making sure that everything is running smoothly and that everyone is doing what they're supposed to be doing. So in project management lingo, your team is completing the project's work, and it's your goal to lead the team to create the final product within the planned schedule and planned budget. So as the project manager, it's your responsibility to manage the project, which means that you'll be responsible for engaging all of your team members to make sure they're staying on track with their work and communicating with others to ensure that all deliverables are being completed. Now, if any risks do become issues, you're going to work with your team to implement risk responses. Well, what does that look like on an actual real-life project? In reality, you're going to lead daily stand-up meetings or weekly project syncs with your team to make sure that everything stays on track. During the monitoring and controlling phase, you're focused on understanding the health of the project and how everything is progressing. Is everything on track, or are we behind schedule and under budget? This phase is always ongoing, and it takes place simultaneously with the execution phase because you're continuously evaluating your project schedule and your costs, and you're comparing them to your planned performance baselines. Because we're project managers, we're also known as risk managers. So you'll also be on the lookout for any risks which may derail your project or cause any major issues or roadblocks to your team's work. The monitoring and controlling phase is also where you'll be making decisions about whether any changes to your scope, schedule, or budget should be approved using a formal change request process. And the last phase of the project, of course, is closing. Just like it sounds, you're wrapping up the project and you're marking it as 100% completed. In project management lingo, you're capturing the project's final lessons learned. You're confirming that all requirements have been met, obtaining formal sign-off and acceptance of the final product, and finalizing all paperwork to fully close out the project. And let's not forget the most important one. You have to celebrate. So as you can see, the project manager has an incredible amount of responsibilities, and the skills that you need to be a successful project manager all revolve around a few key areas. Firstly, you need to be good at organization and communication. Otherwise, how can you plan a very large project and lead an entire team towards achieving that goal? Remember, it's people who are the ones who accomplish the work, not the processes themselves. So you need to be people-oriented. If you want to be a good project manager, you need to learn how to deal and communicate with people. While it can also help to be technically oriented, it's 10 times more important that you get along with people and that you have strong listening skills. You can understand what their needs are, and if they're experiencing any issues while they're performing their work, you can step in and help facilitate any conflict resolution. You should also be a good problem solver. Problems can and will appear, and it's your job as a project manager to guide your team through these situations. Know how to professionally say no when people keep asking you to expand the scope of your project's work, and know how to tactfully and strategically make decisions using data and your team's information. Now, as the famous saying goes, no man is an island, and you need your team's help to navigate through the unexpected. In terms of what software to be good at, be very fluent in how to use Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, and Excel, because you're going to make presentations, you're going to analyze data and create reports to share with leadership, and you're also going to have to drive collaborations with those around you, especially in today's age where many people either work in person, remotely, or across different locations in different states or countries. You'll also need to be fluent at using a project management software such as Microsoft Project to create and manage all of your project schedules. If you're leading agile projects, then you must know how to use Jira. No exceptions here. So in a nutshell, this is a list of a few of the most important skills you need to succeed as a project manager. Now, as a friendly disclaimer, project management is not for everyone, and it definitely takes a certain type of character. But if you enjoy working with others, you like leading teams, you want to make a big impact on your company, helping create a final product, and of course, seeing a project from the start to the finish line, project management is definitely a challenging and a very rewarding career path. If what I've shared with you so far does not scare you or push you away, let's keep going. Also, if you're getting a lot of value out of this video, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe for more videos like this. So now that you understand the role of a project manager, let's dive into part 2. What are companies looking for when you're applying for positions as a project manager? Bottom line, companies really are looking for only 3 things on your resume. Have you led and managed projects previously in your professional working experience? If you have, did those projects finish on time and within budget? And of course, what were the results from those projects? Here is the most actionable advice that I can give you. On your resume, you need to show that you can lead teams from point A to point B. With the budget that you were given, were you able to complete your project? Or did you need more money because you were over budget? And if you said that the project would be done in 12 months, did you actually get it done within 12 months? On your resume, instead of just describing your day-to-day activities from your role, group your experiences together in terms of projects. For each job that you held, have mini sections underneath each role where you describe the most impactful projects that you led and what the results were for each of those different projects. You know, there's a huge myth out there that to get a job as a project manager, you need to have held positions previously as a project manager. And let me tell you, this is completely 100% false. And I can personally tell you just from my own personal experience because I only had roles previously as an engineer, but I was still able to land a job as a project manager. All you need to do is what I call projectify your career. Sure, in the past, you may have worked as an engineer, an analyst, a marketing associate, or some other type of role where your true job title wasn't that of an actual project manager. So here are the exact steps that you need to do. Look at your entire resume. Start from your most recent current position and projectify your experience. Ask yourself these questions. What experiences in your current role can you document as a project? For these projects, what was the objective and what were the results? Remember this one thing. The companies that you're applying to, they want to see evidence that you have the capabilities and the skill set to be a project manager. Now let me explain myself. Let's say that your current position is an engineer. There are many aspects of project management that you're already doing within your current role. All you need to do is look for those projects. Find that experience, get it, and set it into your resume. Find your experience leading projects and set it into your resume. Let me say it one more time. Find your experience and set it into your resume. Find it, get it, and set it. Make sense? Whatever role it is, think very carefully about what work you've accomplished that meets the true definition of a project. If it has a start and an end date, and of course an expected outcome, then you have a project that you can document. It doesn't matter how small or how big it is or how many people were on the project. If it meets these two criteria, then guess what? It's a project. Think of how you would answer the following questions. What did I accomplish and what project management activities did I do to accomplish those results? And of course, you need to document what were those results. Quantify your experience. If you've ever negotiated and dealt with contracts using a vendor, or maybe you placed a purchase order with a contractor and it took so many iterations, perhaps you collaborated with other stakeholders inside your company to obtain resources, and maybe you brainstormed ways to manage and mitigate risks, track your project schedule using Microsoft Project or Excel, or even monitored your budget using earned value analysis, aka using Microsoft Excel to manage your expenses. Well, then you're already doing project management activities in your current role. And you probably didn't even know that. Negotiation, managing expectations of stakeholders, aka your colleagues and those whom you work with, risk management and schedule management, these are just a few of the areas that you're already doing. You're already doing project management work and you're already ticking off those boxes off to be a project manager. And all you need to do is find that experience and set it into your resume. So start brainstorming what projects have you led in your current and previous roles. What did you accomplish in your current role? Think about how did you plan your project? How did you initiate it? And how did you lead your team to execute your project's work? What did you do to monitor and control your project schedule and budget? And when the project was 100% completed, what were the final results? For example, did you complete construction of a major bridge? Or did you end up releasing a new product within 2 years, which ended up generating more than $100,000 in revenue in the first 3 months of its release? If you can phrase it in those ways, then you'll find that you actually did manage projects. Now keep in mind, there's what's called the famous iron triangle. Memorize this if you haven't done so already. The iron triangle means that you're managing 3 big elements: the project scope, schedule, and cost. And right in the middle, right smack dab in the middle of the triangle, is making sure that you adhere to the highest quality standards to meet your customers' requirements. On your resume, Describe how you led projects while taking into consideration those elements. So if there's anything that you take away from this video, think of the following. What are you doing in your current role that matches the definition of a project? Find that experience, get it, and set it into your resume. Start updating your resume because companies want to see what you are capable of and what you can bring to the table. You already have what it takes, so go after it. On your resume, for every project that you have, put a nice summary for what the project is. Make that one line, and then in another line, describe what you did, how long was the project schedule, and how much was the budget, and what the final result was. Make these 2 separate lines on your resume for every project that you led. Focus on quantifying your results. Remember, it's okay to also include bullets of some of your day-to-day activities, such as managing daily stand-ups, creating project reports, managing the schedule, and so on and so forth, but focus on highlighting what your achievements and accomplishments were. And I know I said this previously, but quantify your results. I cannot emphasize this enough. You need to quantify your experiences. Companies want to see numbers and that you can deliver to your promises. If you led a team of 5 people, then say it. Say it on your resume. Don't be scared. Say it on your resume. It's better to say that you led a team of 5 engineers to launch a new process improvement that saved the company $10,000 in company revenue versus I created a process that drove operational improvements. Let me pause here. I mean, which description sounds better? And which person would you hire? I'll let you be the judge. Part 3. How do you land a job as a project manager if you have 0 experience? This is the chicken or the egg scenario. To be a project manager, don't I need to have worked previously as a project manager? And the answer is 100% false. As I mentioned before, you do not need to have a previous job title as a project manager to get a job as a project manager. After you've updated your resume with your project experiences, you need to start putting your resume out there and start applying to project manager jobs. You never know until you try. There are so many project manager roles that you can apply to get your foot inside the door. Project coordinator, project analyst, junior project manager, associate project manager, engineering project manager, program manager, and the list goes on. The opportunities are endless. So don't put yourself in analysis paralysis mode. Take action today, and after you update your resume, start looking for opportunities. Send out your resume and apply to different companies. If you enjoy working at your current organization, then have open, heartfelt conversations with your manager to see if there's a way that you can have more responsibilities to manage and lead your own projects, and that of course you would like to eventually transition to a project manager role. Find opportunities within your current company that are more tailored to project management. If you've already built up your own network within your current organization, well, then find someone who is in a PMO or a project manager role, connect with that person and ask, do they know of any openings? Are they willing to let you shadow them because you want to be a project manager in the future? Are there projects that you could potentially support so that you can have that experience underneath your belt? The key point here is start building up your resume because that will be the key to landing your future role as a project manager. Employers want to see that you're not just an individual contributor, but that you're the one leading others and helping manage projects that have resulted in a huge impact to your company. Now, of course, to make yourself more competitive in today's job market, and this is what I personally did myself, I highly encourage you to enroll in a project management certification course. Now, the one I personally recommend is through Coursera. Either UC Irvine's Project Management Certification course, which I have personally took, as well as the Google Project Management course. Both are extremely valuable and are huge assets that you can include on your resume to distinguish yourself from other candidates. Now, by listing them on your resume that you've achieved these certifications from the Coursera platform, either through Google or through UC Irvine, this can show to future employers that you're being proactive and that you already have the foundation. You have that skill set in project management. So when you combine this with an updated resume that demonstrates your project experience and how you've created results for your company, this is a win-win combination. So if you haven't done so already, I recommend enrolling in one of the project management courses found on the Coursera platform, and I'll be including links to all of the Coursera courses that I personally recommend down below in the description bar, which can help accelerate your career growth. Now, the other recommendation that I have is for you to study and take PMI's CAPM exam, also known as a Certified Associate in Project Management. If you're just getting started in project management, this is the perfect certification for you that will set you completely apart from other candidates. And it's a certification that is from the Project Management Institute, which will eventually lead up to the PMP certification. So when I was personally an engineer and I was applying to project manager roles, I used the following on my resume. I stated that I was in progress completing the UC Irvine Project Management Certification course, and I also stated that I was a Certified Associate in Project Management. Of course, I am now PMP certified, so when I apply to future opportunities, I would state that I'm a Certified Project Management Professional. So while I was still working as an engineer, but also considering a career in project management, I started reading more books on project management and how I could improve my skill set so that I could eventually pass my interviews and land a job as a project manager. Now, the 3 books which helped me out tremendously to get to that point were: number 1, Project Management for the Unofficial Project Manager; number 2, the Fast Forward MBA in Project Management; and number 3, Making Things Happen. I 100% recommend checking out these books, especially if you're just getting started in project management and you're looking to make that career switch. They provide a really good in-depth view into what's involved with working in project management and what to expect in your career as a project manager. I literally binge read these books in about a month or so, but I focused on the most important topics, and it helped me tremendously to upgrade my own resume and also to pass many of my own interviews. So here are the biggest takeaways from this video. Number 1, projectify your resume with your project experiences. Number 2, enroll yourself in a project management certification course, such as through Coursera's project management platform. Number 3, become certified in project management, such as through PMI's CAPM exam. And lastly, read more about project management and make sure to check out the books that I've mentioned earlier. All links to everything that I've recommended are in the description bar down below. And if you implement any of these strategies, these will tremendously help increase the likelihood and the odds that your resume will get selected by a recruiter and eventually into acing your interview. And guess what? Next thing you know, you've been selected by the hiring manager and you now have the official offer as a project manager. It's not going to be easy, but your career is in your control. So do everything in your power to set yourself apart from other candidates and make your resume as competitive as possible. If you haven't done so already, take that next step and start updating your resume. Enroll in Coursera's project management course and become CAPM certified. And I bet you that your current organization might be willing to even pay for it as well. So you really have nothing to lose here. And to help you even further, don't forget to download my free project management career guide so you know exactly what to do to fast track your career, increase your income, and land that next job as a project manager. So head on over to alvinthepm.com/career guide to learn the exact roadmap to accelerate your career growth.